love for you to share a little bit on your experience in working with people, as when they get that on board, that trust, because I know how many people I've worked with when I said inflammatory bowel disease has been one of my biggest gifts in my life. It's really allowed me to be super clear, because when I'm not clear, my gut will tell me, nope, you're off base.
Right.
Instantly. So it's a gift. And often when people come to me and they see it as such a curse.
Yes.
And
this thing is ruining my life.
So what do you see when you work with people and they can make that switch? Yeah, it's really helped me fine tune my boundaries, my sense of self, my self-worth. Maybe you can just share a little bit on that around the people you work with.
Well, I don't work directly with anybody. I don't have any health professional designation. I've done that on purpose, so that I am free to say whatever I want in my books and my blogs. Yeah. So I don't do any one-on-one. I did for a time. There was a brief period of time where I did consultations, and then I realized this is actually going to limit what I can do for a larger number of people, because now I'm going to be in that liability issue. So I stopped doing that. But for the brief time that I did it, because again, it wasn't long enough, and it wasn't long enough to walk too many people through the process. I'm more experienced people hitting their blocks, I didn't see a lot of people getting to the place that you just described, where they're like, wow, this is like having a crystal ball in my body, instant guidance, instant feedback. It's a biofeedback machine, right? People have to go get hooked up to get this level of communication that I'm getting. I didn't see a lot of people get there. I saw a lot of people getting stuck in more like this. The one story that keeps coming to my mind is of this fellow who he was your typical type A, performance-driven overachiever, gone to the best schools. His family owned a bazillion-dollar business, and he was going to be taken over from dad. And his higher self didn't want him to do that. And he didn't like it. And he knew it, but he was not willing to go through. He's from an ethnic family where, the pressure is so high. And he was not willing to listen to his own body and say no and go his own path. So he would completely heal himself using the natural, all my protocols, all the products, because he had no shortage of money. He could, buy whatever he needed. He would get himself perfectly healthy, and then he'd go back to work with his dad. And I'm not kidding you, within a week or two, full flare, bleeding, back in the hospital. And this happened over. And finally I said to him, I got to level with you, because this is what's happening.
And that's what Canadians do.
Yeah. And this is what's going on. So I said, I don't want to tell you but really, unless you're willing to make this decision, you're just willingly going through the same cycle over and over. And his decision from that, he was like, you know what, you're right. Because here's the thing, it takes way more work to heal yourself, to really heal yourself, which is what natural healing is, than it does to just take a drug that makes the symptom go away. So he chose to go back on drugs because he made a conscious decision. I'm not willing to listen to my inner guidance. I'm not willing to stand up to my father and say no. So I'm just going to go back on the drugs. So I don't know what happened to him after that. Will he spend the next 20 years on this cycle of attempting to go to work and maybe being able to work for 6 weeks before he's back in the hospital for another surgery? I don't know. But that's where you can't help people. You can only help them to a certain extent, and then it's their personal journey, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I think that's a really important message for you. I think you should really bring that out in your book, because if you can story tell about that in a way that people can get that, piece about, because I don't play on that a lot. Mine is more, I'm catering more to the actual physical, what to do in my books. And I feel I've kind of checked in. I go, should I be getting more into the spiritual energetic? And I don't get a guidance to do that. Mine is kind of like a first level. So I get MDs and PhDs. I get hardcore scientists who, if I led with the energetic, they wouldn't pick up the book. So I get them in there, and by the time they're finished the book, they're talking, they're checking in energetically. So I kind of bring them a part of the way. But I think if you really brought that out in your book, that would be really powerful for people to start viewing their dis-ease as this messaging system that's, like you said, it shows you when to set a boundary. It shows you when you need to be doing this. It shows you, and if they could just look at that, just kind of flip that whole view, that one thing alone will change someone's life.
The power of the gut instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how inflammation basically dampens all that down. And then we don't have to feel exactly what our instincts are telling us and to look at that. Thank you. I really appreciate that.